In this video, we're going to look at Canada's electoral formula. If we recall, we've looked at the district magnitude, the ballot, providing a list of electoral choices, the franchise, the determination of who can vote. Last is the formula. Once you count all the votes, how do you turn those into seats in a legislature? And that can vary depending on the type of system. Here in Canada, we've got single-member districts and a very easy formula for determining who wins in those districts. The person with the most votes wins. That is called a single-member plurality. You win with a plurality. Also called first past the post. We say first past the post because you do not need a majority. You just need to be the person that gets to the end first. And if you got the most votes, you will win your district. Each of the seats in Parliament corresponds with one of those districts. So here is an example of a seat that's held by a member from London. You see that they're in the back bench, they're not in the cabinet. But each one of those will correspond to a local election. And so that whoever wins in each of those 338 ridings, by a plurality margin, in you go. You get to represent in Parliament. Now, what does that look like in terms of victory margin? Well, you'll see here's one from the Canadian federal election in 2011. This was a seat in London North Centre. The winner here, very, very tight race, wins with a plurality, 36% of the vote, almost 37% of the vote. So what does that mean? Well over 60% of this riding did not want that person to win. So that raises questions of legitimacy. How representative is Parliament when the people that are getting elected are only getting elected with some of the voters and not a majority? So that's the problem with plurality. Plurality is easy, but you don't have a majority. And in this case, the margin of victory was 1,600 votes. So if you had the Green Party candidate, some of those Green Party voters had have switched and voted for, let's say, the Liberal candidate, Glenn Pearson, we would have had a very different result. And so sometimes that happens where you get members representing only a plurality of their constituents. So how does that look nationally? Well, let's take a very simplified example. Let's say we've got 7 ridings in our country. Each riding, the voters cast their votes, and then we have a government. So you just count up the winners in each riding. Those are the folks that go to Parliament. And the party that has the most ridings is the winning party. And so here you can see that the blue party would form a majority government. They won riding 2, 4, 6, and 7. So they would have 4 seats out of the 7 and a majority government. So just to recap, we've got single-member districts. One person from each one goes to Parliament to represent their riding. First past the post, it's very easy to understand. It goes with our easy-to-understand ballot. The winner gets elected with a plurality, which is not a majority.